How do I come up with $1 million ad concept ideas that help D2C brands and e-com brands scale past 7-8 figures? So in this video, we're gonna see exactly that. With my ad creative agency, we help one client go from 1.1 million to 2.7 million a month. And one of those ads reached 1 million in revenue, one ad alone. In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how I think about that. The main two elements of a concept is the angle and the format. So the angle, of course, is how you position your product to be the solution of a pain point that your target audience has. And the format instead is how you convey this message. And a lot of founders, a lot of D2C owners, a lot of good advertisers are really good in terms of angle, and you can achieve a lot by finding the right angle. But in terms of format, they don't understand this. They don't understand which vehicles is the faster, the best one to prioritize in order to achieve the results. An example of format is, for example, the product review, the UGC testimonials, or maybe a podcast ad, a street interview ads, an educational from an authority, a doctor explaining you and teaching you stuff. It looks like, some organic content, or maybe a mashups, all these formats results in a different outcome. You really want to understand how to frame them and which format to use for your ideas. This works for both static and videos, and I was about to write down some of the concepts that we use, but some of these formats are not real formats, because what I mean by format is something that I see and I recognize as organic content. So for example, you can find, if you watch TikTok, you can see TikTok trends, right? Or if you watch YouTube, you see a lot of product review, or you can see a lot of educationals where an authority, which is a YouTuber or a celebrity or a creator or a doctor, a real, let's say, authority, explains you, educates you about the problem, about how does it work, etc., etc. So educationals are a certain type of videos, of course. Another one is very good actually is the podcast or a street interview. This is something that you see on your social media feed, on Reels, on TikTok, and so on. Some of these videos don't look like organic content. Like nowadays, you can feel like the UGC blindness. You see a person speaking in selfie, and you understand that it's an ad straight away because all the ads are like this right now, right? And those formats, work a lot in 2017, 2018, in 2019, of course. And after the TikTokization and after some changes into the culture of human beings, of the society, you saw certain type of ads, like a certain type of content emerge, like for example the podcast or street interviews, or educational that are evergreen, while other ones don't perform as well right now. Like for example, product reviews and testimonials are boring format. What they consist, like you just see a person speaking in front of the phone, in selfie mode, and it's just boring, like nothing happens, right? So this is the reason why they don't work, because the format itself, it was always boring. And now, before 2019, it was still the best type of ad you could do, not because it was in general really great and now it's bad. It always has been bad, but there was nothing better. They were compared with static ads because before Reels, before the TikTokization of all the social medias, videos where there were not enough placements for them, right? And were not as important, but now they are. So you can now avoid certain formats and improve by a lot the percentage of winning ads that you can get, right? And some of these angles, some of these messages, some of your unique selling proposition fit really well with some of these new formats and never actually fit with testimonials or like boring videos, let's call them, okay? Now, of course, some formats are evergreen, like for example, the before and after or the educational when a person is explaining and it's an authority, right? So let's go a little bit more deep into this and let's try to understand what you can do and what you can't do depending on your infrastructure. What you want to avoid probably is testimonials and product reviews because they are really not effective. What you want to avoid is also podcast ads if you don't know how to do them, because they work really well if they are high production, if there is a conversation, there are two actors. Factually, you also put a little bit of controversy, in the script, and like the two actors don't agree with each other. This tend to perform even better. Now, just so you know, the ad that reached $1 million in revenue alone was a podcast ad. So there were two actors. It was shot in high production. So like without production camera. It was not shot on iPhone. And of course, this means also the audio was really good and it looked like, a real podcast. There was some authority. So one of this actor was an authority, and the other one was an actor that looked like the target audience, like someone that is interested and just was asking question and was like, oh, what do you think about this? Or what should I do? And the authority was actually explaining that. Another trait to make a really great podcast ad is to make a back and forth. You have a very fast back and forth, so that you have this mechanism where it's not a monologue, but it's I'm asking a question, you answer me back a question, I answer you, and this all happens fast within 2 seconds, 3 seconds with short sentences. So you don't want a monologue, you want fast back and forth. One should be an authority. This could help a lot, or should be presented, of course, as an authority, should be shot in our production, two actors. One cool thing about podcast ad is that you don't need to show your service or your product. You just need to talk about it and be very specific with the copy. The more specific you are, of course, the better it is. But this is for every type of script, every type of ad. This is a very positive, because for other formats, you have to show it. But this way you can also, work with other agency, or, if you have a very expensive product that is difficult to ship, and is difficult to manage or to make content around, podcast ads are perfect. Now, there are a lot of different elements that goes into that to make a really podcast ad. Maybe I can go a little bit deep down into that in another video. Let's do street interviews that are really similar. So street interviews, they have two actors, the same. It's really important. One is the host with the microphone, and the other one is just a random person that was stopped by, that just stopped by. It looks random. Don't need to be high production, so can be shot on iPhone. There is no need for authority, because of course you can put the authority, but there is no need, because you are pretending to stop a stranger. So whatever they say, it's gonna feel more genuine and spontaneous. Instead, if you do like a normal UGC testimonial, you need to put some kind of authority, because otherwise it's already boring and you know that it's staged, and it's difficult to mimic a really healthy, spontaneous reaction. While with street interviews, it looks like that. The format helps a lot, and you don't need to have a crazy, mega, super skilled, UGC creator that keep the attention. So that's great. You need a fast back and forth, the same. You need to avoid monologue, and there is no need to show the product here as well. Now, if you want me to go through other formats, like in our agency, we count them, we categorize them, and I think we have like 12 or 15 concept that we constantly use. And the one that perform better are the one that we refer as stealth creatives, which are ads that don't look like ads, and because they go under the radar, people don't recognize them as ad, and they keep watching them and they realize it's an ad after 15 seconds, after 20 seconds. And this helps a lot with increasing the average, watch time, and also the more information they consume, and the more is likely that even if they realize it's an ad, they already sold in, because you're speaking about their pain points, you're speaking about the solutions, etc., right? And also it's fun content that they want to see actually. So let me know, I can go a little bit more in deep in all these videos. Let's speak about a format that really go and help, pass the message and pass the angle. Whenever you are picking the format, you want to choose the one that helps you highlight and enhance the unique selling propositions, or the pain point. There are some formats that helps you a lot with that, and also you can take in consideration other parameters, but you need to see if they fit well together. So for example, if your product has their main shocking effect, the unique selling proposition is that their before and after is incredible, because you can use the product to show before using the product and after using the product, and you can really see the difference. You want to highlight it visually. Of course, you have to put it inside your videos, and a podcast ad, it's gonna be difficult to show this before and after in a podcast ad, right? While you can also overlay the image, of course, but if instead of that you use, I don't know, a static or a video where you just showcase that, a video tutorial maybe, where you just show the product in action and you focus a lot on the visual difference before using the product and after using the product, this will convert a lot better than a podcast ad, for example. Yeah, you need to make this consideration when you prioritize, because maybe internally you have a creative strategist, maybe you don't have it and you're doing it yourself, but strategy is all about prioritization and what to do first. Whenever you pick the ad that you want to do, you need to be aware that you can do different type of formats and what you can do, what is achievable, what is not achievable, what is working right now, and mostly what is most likely to work with your product, with your unique selling proposition and stuff. So these are considerations that you have to make. Now, some tools that you want to use to come up with ideas are Atria or Foreplay, for example. There are a couple others, but these are the most famous one. I use Atria, and I think it does a better job in finding new ideas, finding other ads, etc. They also have an analytics system for your ad library to see which hook perform better, which ads are performing. So it's in general a nice product, I think, in my opinion. One thing that you can focus on are brands that are in the same product category. For example, if we take Dr. Squatch, they sell soap. They said they advertise to an audience that want to feel more masculine, and that help them, solve their major pain points, like, for example, not feeling attractive, and etc. When you're going to look for competitors that are in the same solution category, you will find a lot of angles as well as formats. While if you look in the same product category, it depends, of course, by brand actually, but you will find a lot more formats and then nice angles, because basically here they might have different target audience they are going for. So it depends, of course. Another source of inspiration are big brands in general, because they have more budget. Not big brands in terms of not D2C or too big. I mean, like a step ahead of you. You don't want to go see what Coca-Cola is doing. You want to see what the next step you want to reach is doing, because this way, so not actually big, but next step brands, okay? Because this way you can see what type of creating they are pushing with same or similar budget, because of course budget matters. Let me know if you like this video. Feel free to subscribe, leave a like, and if you have an e-com brand or D2C brand and you need help with your creatives, you can book a call. We don't sell you anything in the first call, and we can give you a lot of value or discuss a little bit on what you can do, what would we do for your brand in case, and then you can decide yourself if you want to do that yourself or pay us to just get the result as soon as possible. I hope you liked it. See you in the next video.